Hi, I'm Elizabeth Jones. I'm a lecturer in economics at the University of Exeter, and I teach the two core undergraduate modules in the first year with over 1,000 students, and we use a Pearson textbook, and as well as that we use my Econ Lab, which goes with the textbook.
And how do you become a faculty advocate for Pearson?
Well, I've been using my Econ Lab for sort of 3.5 years now, and I think I'm quite a good user of it. And I was approached by a couple of the Pearson sales consultants and asked to write a case study for them, and that sort of contributed towards me becoming a faculty advocate, so I could use my experiences of using my Econ Lab to help other academics.
Great! And what was the main challenges you faced around assessing students before using my Econ Lab?
I think probably the key challenge was having so many students, all of them with such high expectations about the feedback we'd be able to give them. So, they've been used to doing homeworks, quizzes, and they've been getting feedback the next day or the week after. And the key problem is with 1,000 students, there's no way we can do that. So it was trying to work out a way of assessing them, which wasn't just a final exam, but we could assess them throughout the year, but they were also getting feedback and it wasn't costing me huge amounts of time.
Great! And how did my Econ Lab help you with that?
Well, basically it allowed me to set the assignments at the very beginning of the year, so I could set all the assignments for the whole year with start dates and due dates so that they had ongoing assignments, but it wasn't sort of on my mind that I had to be setting them constantly. They were already done. The students could do the tests in their own time as long as it was before the due date. And my Econ Lab provides the feedback, it marks them all automatically, it gives me their marks, averages for each week, puts them into a grade book, and I can then simply export the data from my Econ Lab into my mark sheet. So basically cuts out all the time, the marking effort, and does it all for me really.
That's great! And what were your main concerns when you were implementing my Econ Lab?
I think one was sort of how, if it would always give correct answers. And there was a concern that because I wasn't doing the marking, that there may be some sort of temperamental aspects with the marking of it. But there were a few glitches, but we overcame those pretty easily. I think another one was probably the Ask My Instructor link, which I love it. I use that link quite often. Now I know how to use it. I think at the very beginning when I started using it, a big concern was that I would be inundated with hundreds of emails. As soon as a student had a problem, they would use the link, email me, and I'd be just getting constant emails. But sort of I found ways around dealing with that, which was common questions coming up over and over again. So rather than responding to all the questions via email, I would sort of sense the common theme and address that in a lecture, and hence be able to delete all the emails. So I think it was the fact that I'd be inundated, but actually it turned out that I really wasn't. So it was quite nice.
Great! And how can you as a faculty advocate help a lecturer using a lab?
I think hindsight is a wonderful thing. My first year I used my Econ Lab, I made a lot of mistakes because I was sort of thrown in at the deep end. So I think I can help them by showing where I started, how I used my Econ Lab at the very beginning, the very basic parts, and where I am now, so how I've sort of progressed and added new features year on year. I think the great thing will be that rather than new academics having to start right at the beginning and make all the same mistakes I made, I'll be able to sort of tell them the pitfalls, tell them how to get in and make a more effective use of it right from the start. So using my experiences to help them avoid all the mistakes so that they can make a better use of it right from the start. So I think that's probably the key way in which hopefully I can help, showing them all the things not to do, the things to do, how it works, how it doesn't work, and really just showing them how to integrate technology, giving them some suggestions about how I integrate technology and how it works for me.
That's great. Thank you very much for that.
No problem.